Hey, what's up everyone? This is Frankie with MeekSpace.com. Today I wanted to take a few moments and show everyone how to download files from the box.net system to their Android devices. So this tutorial is really primarily for Android device owners, although you can use some of the information for, no matter what device you have. So what we want to do first of all is um, we want to get on our computer and we want to download some files from box.net. And what I wanted to do first of all is just, if you're not already if you're not already a box.net collaborator, you'll want to visit meekspace.com, and you'll want to visit the how to register, and you'll want to read this page. This will show you how to register on meekspace.com. Once you get registered, now that's the link that's on the left that says how to register. So once you get registered and you log into MeekSpace, then you'll want to go to the how to get files on my device link. And under follow these steps, there's a little link that says click this link to become a collaborator. So you'll want to click on that link and sign up for a box.net account, and that'll make you a collaborator. Which what that does is that gives you a theocratic folder in your box.net account that's linked to our main theocratic folder that keeps being updated consistently by brothers all around the world. So you'll have the latest files when they're available. You'll be able to get them yourself right from your box.net account. So that's what that's all about. So what we want to do now is just show you how to get files from the box.net system and put them on your Android device using your USB cable. So what you'll do is you'll go to box.net, you'll sign in, you'll go to your theocratic folder, and you'll see all of the folders and files that are available. You'll pick the file that you want to download. In this case, I'm going to go to Tools and Study Material. I'm going to go to Kingdom Ministry, and I'm going to download the December Kingdom Ministry. If box.net recognizes the file format, it'll give you a preview of what you're going to download. If it doesn't recognize it, it'll just have a blank page with the download button. So we're going to go ahead and download this Kingdom Ministry in PDF format. So once it downloads, then I'm going to go back and we'll download an iSilo file so that we can show you how that works as well. So that's downloaded now. So I'm going to go back to Theocratic up here, and I'm going to go into the iSilo folder, and finally I'm going to go into Ministry Aids, and I'm going to download, here's presentations from the January 05 Kingdom Ministry. So I'm going to download that file. Once that gets downloaded, then I thought we would visit the jw.org website and download an EPUB file. That's generally where you will go to get your Watchtower and Wake magazines in EPUB format. You can also get them in PDF format. So that's done. So I'm going to go to jw.org. I'm going to go to Downloads. I'm under Digital Publications. I'm going to go to Magazines. And here I want to choose what language and what month. I want January. Down here under the Watchtower Study, I'm going to choose the regular, and I usually download EPUB because the EPUB files have the links embedded in them, or have the scriptures embedded in them. So when you click on a scripture in the file, it'll take you to the scripture. So it's a little bit nicer than a PDF format, in my opinion. Okay, so now we've downloaded what we want, and those files will go either in My Documents Downloads, or in my case, because I have Windows 7, it goes to the computer's name and then Downloads. So there's the files that we just downloaded. Now I want to open up, now the next thing we want to do, so we've got the files downloaded from box.net to a folder on our computer. So the next thing we want to do is plug in our Android device into our computer using our USB cable. Okay, so I just did that. Now we should get some kind of yep, so we got a menu popping up saying it wants to open up my removable disk, which it found on my Android device. So I'm going to open that folder. And now we get a second one. The reason I got a second one is because most Android devices will have internal memory, and they'll have a memory card if you've added a memory card. So you actually have two drives that should pop up if you have both memory types in your device. Now this one's my internal, and I don't really want to put anything on it, so I'm going to close it. So here we have my removable disk, and we have the files that we just downloaded. So what we'll do is we'll open up, now I've created a theocratic folder on my removable disk in my Android device. You can do the same. That's what I'd recommend doing, is putting them under a theocratic folder. So you can right click, go to New, go to Folder, and create one if you haven't got one. So if we open that up, you'll notice I have a single iSilo folder, because I keep all my iSilo folders or files in one folder. Now the reason I do that is because some files have links to other files, and if you click on a link in that file and that file is not in the same folder, you'll get an error message. Like for instance, links to scriptures. If you click on a scripture link, you'll get an error message if that file is not in the same folder. So I just put them all in one folder. That's only for iSilo files. My other files, my EPUB and my PDF, I make individual files for them and kind of keep them a little better organized. So what we want to do now is just put, we want to grab the Kingdom Ministry and put that in, put that under KM PDF. It's already there, so I'm just going to overwrite it. And then I'm going to take my presentations file, and I'm going to move that into my iSilo folder. And then I'm going to take the EPUB file, and I'm going to move that under Magazines EPUB. Again, that one was already there, so we'll just overwrite it. So that's pretty much it as far as downloading the files and then copying them to your device. So what we'll want to do next is just take a quick look at our Android device. Now today I'm using a Motorola Atrix, and remember, with iSilo files you need to have iSilo installed. You can get that from the Android market. And so we're going to open up iSilo, and because I have two different kinds of storage on mine, I got to browse from iSilo. I browse to where I'm storing those files. Mine's called SD card external. When you open that up, you notice I have a theocratic folder. That's the one we were messing with. And then we have iSilo. So now there's all my iSilo files. Now I just downloaded the presentation one, so I'm going to scroll down here and look at it. Presentations 105. So there we go. We got a bunch of presentations. I can click on a link and I can read the information and back and forth. So that's basically what you do to open an iSilo file. Now remember, we also put a PDF file on here, and there's several different PDF viewers you can download. You can download Adobe or a bunch of others. My phone actually has had one already on here that I like quite a bit, called Quick Office. So I'll open up Quick Office, and we're going to open up our SD card, and we're going to go down to theocratic, and we're going to go into magazine or KM PDF, and there's our Kingdom Ministry we downloaded. And there's the Kingdom Ministry on our device. We can just scroll through, we can zoom in, and unfortunately, because it's a PDF, the scriptures that are listed aren't linked, but it's still very handy and easy to use. And the nice thing about PDFs is they do work with the pinch zoom and that kind of thing. So that's how you open up PDFs. Now remember the same thing, we have an EPUB file, and you have to have a program or an app that opens EPUB files. Now there's lots of them that you can download. I think the one that I've been using is called FB Reader. So you just open up FB Reader, and then of course you want to open up the file that you have so you can view it. Now another way, if you're not familiar with moving around in the file, another way to find the file is to just go to the folder where it's stored at and click on it, and it'll recognize it. So we're going to go to our memory card. We're going to go back down here to, well, see, that's what I'm saying is it took us to the wrong place. It's taking us to our internal memory. So I'm going to go to, in my case, I happen to know that everything's stored under an MNT folder, and then I should have a SD card external, and then there's my theocratic folder. And again, under magazines, EPUB, we should find that magazine we downloaded, and if we click on it, it's going to open it up for us. So we want to read it, and there we have it. So we can scroll through the pages. If there's a link going right to the page, it'll take us to it. And then because it's an EPUB folder or an EPUB file, the scriptures are embedded. So there it took us to the scripture. Now I can go back to the article. I can choose where I want to be at, and that takes me back to where I was. So basically that's how to get files from box.net onto your Android device using the USB cable. Now another thing I wanted to take a moment and show you is an application that I found called Folder Sync. So from the Android market you can download Folder Sync. Now they make a Folder Sync Lite, which I believe is free, and you can add one account to it, so I think that will work fine for everyone. But when you open up Folder Sync, the ideal behind Folder Sync is you can add different online accounts to the program, and then you can create syncing folders. Now what that means is you can add your box.net account to this app, then you can create a link between a specific folder in your theocratic box.net folder and a specific folder on your device's memory card, and you can create a automatic sync which will download any new files at a specific time, which means anytime there's new files, it'll download them, and you don't ever have to worry about do you have the latest files or the newest files. They'll just be there. So quick little tutorial on this app. If you go to accounts, you'll want to set up an account. You do that by clicking create new. When you hit create new, you'll give it a name. Now this is just one that you recognize. It can be anything, but because this is my box.net, I just call it box. And then under the account type, you'll want to choose box.net. This will synchronize with lots of different online systems, but choose box.net. And then once you choose box.net, it'll open up a username and a password section. So you'll put in your box.net username and your box.net password, and then you'll save it. Now I'm not going to save it because I've already created my box.net account here. So you'll go back to the main menu. So once you've set up your box.net account under accounts, you'll want to go into folder pairs. Now you'll notice I've got a bunch of folder pairs already set up. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means I've got a folder from theocratic folder on box synchronizing to a folder on my device. If you want to, let's create a new one so you see how it's done. So we'll create a new one. So the name is going to be the name of the type of files you're downloading. So in this case, I want to download, I want it to automatically get, let's say I want it to synchronize with, let's just say presentations. You can call this anything you want. In fact, I misspelled that, but I'm just going to say test for now. Okay, so we give it a name. The account type is going to be your box.net account that you set up. Your remote folder is going to be the folder that you want to sync on box.net. So when you click remote folder, it's going to use your box.net account information you already set up, and it's going to log into box.net. So you notice I have a bunch of folders, but the one you'll have is theocratic. And of course, from there you'll want to choose a folder that you want to synchronize. Now be careful not to synchronize the entire theocratic folder, because there's like 20 gigs of information. First of all, it probably won't ever finish synchronizing, but it's also going to fill up your device. So you want to be very specific about what you synchronize, okay? So say I want to synchronize some iSilo files. So I'll go into iSilo, and all of the iSilo files are all in one folder there. So if I chose select folder, it's now going to synchronize the entire iSilo folder to my device. The next step is, where do I want to synchronize it to on my device, which is called local folder. So choose that. Then you have to choose where on your device you want to save those at. Now in my case, I want to save them to my external memory card. It's looking at my internal memory here. So I want to go hit the drive, and I want to go to this bottom choice, and that'll give me the option of finding my external card, which is on my device it's called SD card external. Yours might be called something different. Now if I scroll down, there's my theocratic folder, and here I want it to synchronize to iSilo, and I'll select that folder. So you notice I put in whatever name to identify the files I'm synchronizing. I choose my box.net account. It'll let me remote to the folder that I want to synchronize. I then tell it what folder on my device I want it to synchronize to, and then under the folder, under sync type, I leave it set to local folder. That way it's only going to synchronize one direction. And then under use scheduled sync, put a check in that and choose how often you want it to synchronize. It defaults to daily, but you can go every hour, every 2, 6, 12, daily, weekly, or go into advanced and specifically set it that way. I just leave it on daily and save. So now I just set up that test synchronization, and so what's going to happen is once every day it's going to synchronize that iSilo folder with my device, and it's going to then it'll download all of the files. Now one other thing you need to notice is inside this setup, if you keep scrolling down, you can tell it to synchronize using your Wi-Fi, which it defaults to, or you can tell it to use your mobile. Now I just have it doing Wi-Fi. That way when my device is at home connected to my Wi-Fi, it will synchronize. When I'm not where there's Wi-Fi, it won't synchronize, which it doesn't use my data plan. So if you want it to use your data plan, if you're not worried about that, you can put a check mark there, and it'll synchronize using Wi-Fi if it's available, or your 3G or 4G if it's not available. So that's another thing to look at as well. So that's really kind of a quick rundown of this app. Now there are some other functions inside the folder sync. The one other thing I really thought was cool is under File Manager, you can actually browse the box.net system. If you hit the icon with the link under it, it'll actually give you the option to go to box.net from here. And there's your folders. You can go into Theocratic, you can browse to the different files, and you can actually choose to download a file. The only thing I've noticed is, and in this case, instead of download, it'll say copy, but I've noticed that box.net's having the same problem with this part of downloading as it does with the actual box.net account. So this is not working right now. I think when they fix their problem, it will. So anyway, that's just kind of a quick rundown. Under sync status, when it synchronizes, it'll give you a status of all the things that it synchronized. So that's kind of a nice thing to know about as well. And there's some settings you can set up and things like that. So that's a good rundown of that app. So there you have it, Android users. That's a rundown of 2 ways you can get files on your device. Download to your computer, use your USB cable, move them, or download this application from Android Market called Folder Sync and set up a synchronization to sync your folders. Of course, if there's any other ways that come out or any better solutions, we'll update you at that time. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and we'll talk to you next time.